If you're planning to visit Guam or are potentially moving to Guam, then I'm glad you're here because in today's video, we'll be sharing some interesting things to know about the island life. So let me just say, it would be very odd if you visited Guam and did not see at least one gecko. These little guys can practically be found anywhere on the island, but don't worry, they are completely harmless. More so, they can just probably be an annoyance for some people if you found them in your house. For me personally, I actually welcomed it if I saw like one or two geckos in the house, only because they are very helpful in eating like smaller insects. So we would rarely see like ants or spiders or cockroaches in the house because they would get to them first. So it was like, oh, yeah, you know what? You're welcome here. One of the downsides is definitely the roads on Guam. They're not the smoothest, and a lot of times, like, you know, other than the main highway, like Route 1 that goes from north to south of the entire island, there are a lot of like side roads, you know, more dirt trails. If you were more explorative, then you would probably be finding yourself getting on some bumpy trails, but it does take a toll on your tires. And so it's not exactly like, I don't know, ever since I moved out to the mainland, I have not had to refill the air in my tires as much as when I lived in Guam. And that, again, that is just more so because it's just really bumpy. You might hit potholes every now and then. So you just have to be really, really careful about how you drive or where you drive. Gaining access to the military bases on Guam is not as swift and effortless as it is in the mainland. And for me, growing up on Guam, I thought that was the norm. I thought that level of strictness was what was required in every military base. On Guam, there's a whole process in order to get a visitor's pass. And it involves a background check, and there's like a waiting room that sometimes you might be waiting like more than 30-40 minutes just to get this visitor's pass. And if I remember correctly, it's either just a one-day pass or a weekend pass. So if it's not something that, you know, urgent, like for example, like you just wanted to take your friend into the next to do some shopping, you know, get some discounts, then, you know, that's probably okay. But if you were trying to plan like a family trip in there to go do a barbecue or you know, bringing a whole group of friends to go snorkeling on one of the beaches on base, that is going to be pretty time consuming. And so it's really up to you, you know. Hopefully the process has gotten a little easier, but yeah, it's just one of those things that can be a little annoying, but necessary. I completely understand that. If you have babies, do not be alarmed if locals, especially the older generation, if you know they come up and if you hear the word magodai, okay, that is something that describes like a feeling that, you know, that most babies would give us if it's a cute baby, and it makes you so like, oh, you know, like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't really describe like maybe that like that desire or that like that energy, you know. It's just that energy where you want to like pinch the baby. They're so cute. So I always kind of wondered where that, you know, concept of magodai came from, and it actually stems back from old Chamorro belief in spirits, you know, especially the more like conniving ones, I guess. And so they believed that if a baby was so cute, these spirits would try to take them away, try and steal them. And so in order to kind of ward that energy off, they would pinch the baby, you know, really pinch them there, you know, all the rolls, all the fats and everything, would pinch them to the point of making them cry. I know it sounds terrible, right? To the point of making them cry so that they would have like an ugly appearance and not be appealing to these spirits. Now, again, that's just an old belief, so don't let anybody try and pull that off on you and say, oh, I'm trying to protect your baby, let me pinch them. If you do not want somebody touching your baby at all, you have every right to let them know, like, no thank you, I'll take my chances. Now, this one is just more of a fun fact, and it sounds like it would be common sense, but, you know, again, this is something that like I've grown up with, so for me it just became the norm, right? locals, right? And when I say locals, it's like a mix of like Chamorro, Filipino, Micronesian, but you'll have a good number who will choose not to date within their culture, right? They would, locals avoiding dating locals. And the only reason for this is because we're on an island, right? So there is always a really high chance that you might be related to that person. And so it never really happened to me personally, but more so to like my friends or family members. I know like my sister, you know, she's a lot younger than me, but I know my sister, when she would get asked out by a boy, one of the very first things that they would insist on doing is introducing to the family or going to some family event, something that involved family being there. It's not that they're infatuated and they're like, oh, I want to introduce you to my family. It's more so like, I want the oldest member of my family to ask you about your background, about your family name, so that we can know now if we're related or not and whether or not we can continue dating. So like I said, that never happened to me, but I just always thought it was funny when I would hear stories like that, where, you know, they would bring their potential date, right, to a like family fiesta or family dinner, and they'd be like, oh, grandma or nana, right? This is so and so, you know, this is my friend. And that grandmother would be like, oh, okay, Nen, what's your last name? Oh, Kitsutsu. Okay, okay, like where though? Kitsutsu from Baragata, or like Kitsutsu from, you know, and she'll try and find out, like, source where your family's from. And so that way she can be like, hey boy, no, you're related, you're second cousins, you can't date. Or they'd be like, oh yeah, boy, you're good, you're in the clear. No, there's no need to avoid each other. I mean, better to know early on, right? And if you are not local and you were interested in, you know, dating somebody local or, you know, pursuing somebody, courting them, just be fair warned that because Guam is a very family-oriented place, you are more than likely going to be, you know, introduced to the family pretty early on, just so they can kind of get a good reading of you. Because if things went, you know, south, and if you did, you know, if you ended up breaking up on bad terms, you haven't just upset that person, you've upset their whole family too. And it goes the complete opposite as well. If you guys end up being a great fit, a great match, then that family will embrace you like family almost immediately. Ask anybody who has visited Guam or who currently lives there, but we do love our food. In fact, that is what we usually bond over. And Guam has the most amazing cuisine. Yes, I sound biased because I'm from there, but just go and you'll see. Therefore, it is more than likely that, you know, especially if you were visiting for a short amount of time and you're gonna want to really embrace the food, and the cuisine there, you might gain some weight during your time there. Every person I know from Guam who has left the island and is visiting back, they always say the same thing. Gonna be back on Guam for 2 weeks, get ready to gain 15 pounds or something of that sort. And you know what, if you do, just embrace it. You can lose it later, you know, but it's really hard to turn down good food, you know. And of course, because it's such a very welcoming community, I mean, why would you not want to be a part of that? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video for today. If you did, then please give it a like. Also, feel free to subscribe to the channel for all my other videos on the beauty and fun of Guam. And feel free to leave a comment below if you have your own little fun facts about the island life. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!